Hello 7th and 8th grade viola players. This is Skill Builder 10, and this week we are going to continue looking at a day at Disneyland. Last week we made it from measure 1 all the way to the end of measure 37, and so this week we're going to pick up where we left off, measure 38, and play to the end of measure 58. Now looking at your music, you might say, man, we don't really have a lot going on here, and that's the case. You don't have much. There's only 3 little snippets of notes that you play, and we'll go over those. But that's the way that this piece works, and actually that most music works, is that you don't always have a super prominent part. And so, for example, in this melody, it starts with featuring just the cellos and bass, so no one else is playing, just cello and bass. Later it picks up with the violin 1s and violin 2s. So there's no viola melody in this part, but that's okay because just a few sections later, you guys are actually going to have your time to shine where there are 4 measures of just viola and nobody else. And so as we go through the piece, there's times where your part is super prominent and featured, and other times where maybe you don't play as much. But no matter what you are doing, your part is super important. So even though these are just some small little snippets of notes, it's important that you know how they sound because you're contributing members of the ensemble. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching your Skill Builder. I'm here in my kitchen because we are going to play a game this week called What's in Miss Allen's Fridge? You all have until the next day 1, that means by 11:59 p.m. on day 6, to send me an email with a guess of 5 things that are in my refrigerator. Whoever guesses the most things correct will win a prize. So make sure you email me your guesses before the next day 1. And let's get back to the Skill Builder ensemble. And so we are going to jump right in to measure 38. This is a tune called The Great Outdoors. I would expect that probably none of you know this. I didn't know it before we started. The high schoolers didn't know it. So if you'd like to hear the original, you can go on YouTube and type in The Great Outdoors Disneyland, and that will bring you to a video of the original. But remember, I also have the small snippets of each section in this piece, and so you can find just measures 38 to 58, just the Great Outdoors of all the parts together, and then you can find your individual part, just the viola part. And so just so you know, that's how you can find it to listen to it. Let's start by looking at the key signature and the time signature. Remember, those 2 things change throughout this piece, and so as we start a new section, we always want to check to see if they have changed or if they have stayed the same. Now, our time signature actually changed in measure 36. We talked about this last time. We went from 6/8 to 4/4, and it stays in 4/4 for all of the Great Outdoors. So that should be a relief for you. 6/8 is something new that we've been working really hard on, but 4/4 should be a little bit easier for us to wrap our heads around, and so it will be a little bit easier for us for this melody to not have to worry about 6/8. If you take a look at your key signature starting at measure 38, it might look a little bit strange to you. You have 1 natural sign that actually is canceling out the F that was sharp previously. And so basically what this means, and if the piece started out in this way and they didn't have to cancel out the F sharp, there would be nothing there. And what that means is that all notes are natural. There are no sharps and there are no flats unless there are accidentals, and that's a different story. But if none of the notes are sharp and none of the notes are flat, that means they're all natural. And as a string player, the 2 notes that you should be thinking about when you hear that everything is natural are F and C, because those are the 2 notes that kind of by default from the beginning of playing we play as sharp. And so knowing that there are no sharps and no flats, we now have to say, okay, all of my Fs need to be natural and all of my C's need to be natural, and we will run into a few of those cases. Actually, I'm looking at your part. That doesn't even happen for you. You guys don't have any low 2s, so you kind of luck out. You don't really have to think about it too hard here, but if you did happen to have Fs or Cs on the D and A string, those would be low 2s. All right, let's jump right in here. Obviously, we're not going to practice resting for 11 measures and 1 beat, 11 1/4 measures. I'm not going to make you practice that. Of course, when you are in the performance or when we're practicing, you're going to be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, all the way through to where you come in, okay? At measure 49, you have a C. This is a C natural, 3 fingers on the G string. The way that you always play it has been C natural. This is sort of an echo that you do with, I believe, the cellos and maybe I think just the cellos. The violas and cellos do this together. It sounds like this. Okay, try that with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And it will make a little more sense when everyone is together playing the melody as well, but you're looking out for that at 49, and you can also listen to the cellos to help you out when you get there, okay? Then you have 2 more measures of rest, and then you come in at measure 52. Now let's just take a look at this really quickly. 52, you have 2 more C's, 3 fingers on G, and then 53, you have a G sharp, actually 2 of them. That type of G sharp is a low 1 on the G string. So your first finger would normally be here. You back it up. This is G sharp. You play 2 of those, and then your next note is A, which is the first finger note. And so you have to slide your first finger back up to where it normally goes. So you have 2 G sharps, A, B, C. So if I go from 52, this is what it sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. So we have low 1 up to regular 1, and then that C at the end of 53 into 54 is a 5-beat note. So make sure you hold it for 5 beats. Let's do that one more time. 52. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, rest. Excellent. 2 more measures of rest, and then at measure 57, believe it or not, this is the transition into the next tune, and so we're not really getting a good picture of what the great outdoors is here. When we put it all together, you will, but this is the transition into It's a Small World, which we will look at next time. This is 1 finger on your C string. You don't get to play the C string very often, so this is kind of exciting. You have 1 finger, which is called the D, 2 fingers, which is an E. Now this has an accidental, the next note. This is an F sharp. So F on the C string is regular 3. To make it an F sharp, you stretch that 3rd finger. It's a high 3. Then G, A, 1 finger, B, 2 fingers, C, 3 fingers, C sharp, high 3, and then open D. When you put it all together, it sounds like this. Try it with me. 1, 2, here we go. So that is it, violas. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but again, those are really important parts. So make sure you've practiced them, especially that harmony at 52, 53, and 54. It's just violins and violas there. It's so beautiful if you can get that harmony right in that measure, because it's just the violin 1s, violin 2s, and you, and so it's really, really prominent because you're kind of like almost taking the role of like the cellos with the lower notes there, right? So make sure you really, really know your parts here. If you have some extra time, go back and review the stuff from last time. And if you feel like you have that down, then you can enjoy a little bit of a rest this week because your part isn't quite as complicated as the other sections. All right? So everyone have a great week. You have all the way up until the next day 1 to learn this, and then starting on day 1, we'll work on it together as a team. All right? So thanks for watching the Skill Builder, and I will see you guys in class.